thought I'd share a bit of information with you today as you watch me ride out of Waimate towards State Highway 1 here in the South Island of New Zealand, heading up to St Andrews. Here in New Zealand you get your licence at 15, and from 15 to 27 I had a range of different motorcycles. But my passion for motorcycling came about when I was about 11. There was a group of people down the road at a subdivision on a hillside, and this steep driveway went up past about 8 or 9 houses, and it had a common driveway, and they had an old Suzuki TS90 dirt bike, and they were riding up and down the driveway. And much to my surprise, the guy that owned the bike turned around to me and asked me if I'd like to have a go, which I jumped at. And it was my first experience of actually having powered motion, and the ease at which this little motorcycle took me up this very steep driveway and past all of these houses. And I've got to say, I was hooked. I was hooked from that time on. From there, as I sort of went through my teens and into early 20s, I had a range of motorcycles. I had a Suzuki PE 175, a TS 185, an RM 125T, and moved up, and I had a really nice Honda CR 500 for a while, which was registered for the road, and I loved it. At the same time, I had a Yamaha RD 400 Daytona, which was a great bike, and from about 27, I moved from New Zealand to Australia, and I didn't ride for about 8 years, and then the itch took hold again. At which time I went and saw my good mate up at Cairns in North Queensland, there at Waimate Suzuki at the time, and bought myself a Ducati ST2, which I rode the wheels off. I only kept it for about 4 months. It was a 900cc and it just wasn't powerful enough, and I flicked that for a 998, and then went on from that to a first generation Hayabusa, and then a second generation Hayabusa a few years later, spending considerable money on both of those on a bit of go fast gear before I even took them out of the workshop and rode the wheels off those. From then, family comes along, and I didn't ride for around 19 years, and here I am back in New Zealand, purchasing my first Harley from Rolling Thunder up in Christchurch. Go and see Mick up there, he'll look after you. They're a good team, no nonsense shop. So I purchased this Harley Davidson. I'm 60 now, and we can talk a little bit about how I found it. I didn't want another sports bike. I just can't help myself. Someone's only going to go past and look at me, and the race is on. So I started thinking about the Harley Davidsons. I've always loved Harley Davidsons. I love the styling, I love the look. They're just jewellery on wheels. Albeit that I was well aware of the limitations of its sports riding capability. So I bought the 2022 Fat Boy, and I'm loving it. And I can say to all of you out there, if you haven't ridden for many years and you think about it, you have a passion for it, buy a bike, get out there. I've got a few thousand kilometres up on this bike now, and I absolutely love it. There are some things that you've got to do as you get older. You've got to stretch. Your ability to come to T intersections, look over your shoulder, becomes a bit more difficult. But that just comes with a bit of practice and a little bit of training, a little bit of stretching, and taking your time. But I'll tell you what, it is well worth the effort to get out there, buy a bike, and get back on the road. It's that lovely feeling of when you get home, that feeling of just being so relaxed and having really enjoyed the open road. So a little bit more about the Harley Davidson Fat Boy 2022. I won't go into great specifics in technical detail. There are many other YouTubers out there that'll do a walk around and go into great detailed specifics about the bike. It's got lots of torque. I think it's about 113 foot-pounds of torque and a bit over 100 horsepower. So half of what the Hayabusas used to have when I was used to riding. But it is a cruiser. It is a cruiser with limited lean angles, but you will find it really, really enjoyable on the tight stuff, riding it comfortably within its limitations. You will love it. Of that, I have no doubt. I'm super excited about the bike. I'm really looking forward to doing many rides here in New Zealand. Our roads are different to most roads anywhere else in the world. They are narrow. They are not necessarily in the best shape. Lots of potholes. And of course, New Zealand is just one big farm, so you have many farm implements, trucks, animals, and what have you. So you've got to drive within the conditions. But having said that, every corner is a postcard. It's an exciting place to ride a bike. The climate's lovely, and nothing like what I was used to riding motorcycles in the Northern Territory of Australia or even up in North Queensland. The days that you had your race face on and you slipped into your leathers, if you rode your bike for 4 or 5 hours, you'd probably drop 2 or 3 kilos just from perspiration. But here in New Zealand and the South Island, it's just beautiful and a great place to ride bikes. You'll note I've got a few accessories attached to this motorcycle. I've got the windscreen, which is handy. Here in New Zealand it can get quite windy, and if you're on a long ride, the protection's well worth the investment. Also, you'll see my iPhone there. It is attached to the motorcycle via a quad lock phone system with vibration dampener. It's great. At the moment I don't have a Bluetooth mechanism to hear navigation instructions, but I can read them off the phone screen well enough for now. I also have the quick release sissy bar and back rack from Harley Davidson, and to that, when I'm going away overnight, I attach the Harley Davidson Weekender premium luggage bag, which I find is more than adequate for 2 or 3 days away. The bike is still equipped with the standard pipes, which are a little bit quiet for me, but when it goes for its next service, I'll probably put some aftermarket pipes on it just to make it sound more like a Harley Davidson. So I'm now just coming into St Andrews, and I'll be pulling into a little rest stop that overlooks the coast. I don't know what else you'd want to know, but you can please at any time leave anything in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to get back with how I found the bike and any other questions you may have. One I did leave out. I get about 318 kilometres to a tank. Fuel here in New Zealand is quite expensive, but look, at the end of the day, who cares? It's about the ride, it's about the freedom, it's about being on the road. So as I say, feel free to add to the comments. Just on the video and the footage, I'm only using a Hero 4. I've had this camera for about 9 years. It is probably pointing just a little bit low. I've got it folded back up against my helmet as high as it could. I might get a little arm so I can give it just a bit more elevation so you can see more of the skyline and less of the bike. But I'm not going to run out and invest a whole heap of money in new equipment, because I just won't be doing that much moto vlogging. There's too many people out there that do too good a job for me to take it up and get it all wrong. I might get myself a microphone for some of the other trips I'm going to do around New Zealand, but we'll see how that goes. But that's it for now. I'm just pulling into the rest stop now, and then I'll be having a short break and heading back home. So thanks for watching, everybody.